All right.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's episode 96 of the People's Podcast. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the fake woke. You know, in the sense of, okay, it's important today, but not tomorrow. You know, we talked about that before. Um, Ashley, I want you to explain your interpretation of being fake woke and being woke. I mean, the contrast and stuff like that. So I'm going to let you go ahead and start it off, and I'll elaborate.
Okay. Um, First of all, I talk about like um being awake, because maybe some people don't really understand what being woke means, and they just heard the term and thought they were doing something positive at that moment and thought that maybe, hey, I'm woke, you know. But being awake for me, it means that you're aware of outside influences to your life. Like, for example, eating pork. It's it's not looked at in a good light in a lot of different religions or a lot of different cultures and things like that, right?
And the reason
Mm,
why I can from my understanding is it's an unclean animal.
correct, correct.
And
Um,
I'm sorry, I'll elaborate on that too. I lived on a farm. We had pigs, and they're very, very, very unclean.
because you guys feed them whatever, right?
We used to feed them slop, like a dinner from the week, the leftovers and stuff. Just dump it out there in a trough, and then they love it.
Yeah,
But go
yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
But some people do eat pork. But however, if you're a part of a certain group that it doesn't, it doesn't, you're not supposed to do those things, you're not really walking in your faith, if you will, or in what you believe in, if you will. It's really easy to get away from because we have so many influences. It's much easier to in the grocery store right now. Beef might be a little, hey, pork is filled up, so it might be a little easier to be influenced to do things that you're really not wanting to do or you're trying to get away from. But however, the world has made it very easy for you to do that. And that's why faking awareness, which is really what being woke is, isn't good, because you're half stepping and you're never going to get those full results like you're looking for, because you're not really taking the full walk with it.
And
So that's when we,
I want to. I'm sorry. I want to make people aware that nobody's perfect. But if you claim to
nobody's perfect.
be this or that, then you definitely would say like you have to walk how you talk. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
people
you
do
do.
everything, the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Like um, most of us as humans are generally walking contradictions. That's just kind of somewhat human nature, which I think it takes mental discipline to actually hold fast and stick to certain things for the simple fact of the world. You know,
Yeah,
worldly things.
you're
So
right.
some things, everybody has vices. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody, everybody.
So with that
And,
being
you know,
said, like somebody would be like, oh, this and that, and then not, it sounds good. A lot of times it does sound good, but at the end of the day, I mean, we talk about accountability and then doing the right thing when nobody's looking. That part.
yep, yep. The other another skill that is very, very good to have when trying to walk that walk, what you're speaking, or what you aspire to live, your desires, is consistency. A lot of people lack consistency, and that's the basis of everything, really. I like to use, not to use religion, but I like to use that as an example that is right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you're required to do so many things, right, within that religion.
Right.
And if it was going to be easy, I don't think it would be a religion, if that makes sense.
That
Because,
makes perfect sense.
like you said again, we're all human, and the goal is to get in that religion is to get closer to your God or to become more like Him. If it was that easy, we would have so many gods out here, because nobody wants to struggle, nobody wants to hurt, nobody wants to be in fear. Nobody wants to go through a rough life. If I'm pretty sure if you ask someone, they want to have it easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
well, who wouldn't though, honestly? And another thing, I was doing some research on some stuff. I found out some things like if you want to be the chosen one, or if you're going to want to be in the right path and everything, the devil works overtime. However you want to view it, when you're on the right track, you will know because so many obstacles come out in front of you.
yes, a major sign that something good is coming. Also, because he
What's that?
guides you. I'm sorry. What did you say?
No, I was saying like, what was that like? I missed that part. You kind of froze. You actually froze right now. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. See, when something is good is coming your way, that's like the first sign the devil's getting ready to start riding you. And I mean, he's going to be on your back if you are destined to be, living in a higher destiny or a higher realm of life, if that's what you desire, if that's what your heart desires, right?
Uh-huh.
Just like a minute ago, man, we want to touch so many people and help so many people out, and get them the right information that they need to get through this thing we call life. And we just have some connectivity issues, and that hasn't happened before.
It has. As soon as you do something like on a positive scale or something comes and like, you know what? Let me put a little frustration in there.
Yep. Let me throw a wrench in there, and maybe they'll just give up.
No, this one happened before. Some of my best interviews are gonna happen like this. Nope, 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 nope. And that wasn't even halfway through. I was like, we're gonna keep going. People get the gist of things too. Definitely.
Right. Yep. But the other thing about being awake too is you know you can be awake and then decide to ignore it because you're afraid of it. But
Or
being
out of
awake
convenience as well too.
out of convenience because it's easier. I hear people say all the time, oh, I believe this, or I'll just let it out. I believe in Christianity, or I practice this faith because it's what I've been raised to do. But time changes, things changes, and people get smarter and they get wiser. And you got to understand that some things were put in place to control us because they didn't know how to get us all on one beat.
Absolutely.
At one point, it goes back to the Jim Crow laws and things like that. Like, they had to be able to get us all on one tune.
Also, they had to figure out how to put us against each other too.
Yeah. To mix us up. Yep.
And then if you ever notice, certain people might care about one thing today and tomorrow is something else. And then you got to realize, if you're about it, you actively going to go out there and push that line, push that agenda.
Mm-hmm.
I do it through my work mostly because I'm always there. And what better way to teach life skills besides that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what other way can you round up people to get the same goals accomplished? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then,
but that's how you know you're.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Nope, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
But that's how you know you're walking in your purpose at that point, because you're getting to go to work and make money and still be doing what it is that you love and have a passion for doing, you know?
And also
That's
the things I teach carry you from that place. Things I
right,
teach can carry you through life as well.
right. And that's what matters, the things that sticks. Remember I was talking about the other day, like, you know, you can have knowledge. You can have knowledge, but how powerful that knowledge will be will determine what kind of knowledge it is. Because I mean, again, if you didn't know that energy can never be destroyed, it only can be transferred, you would never understand that realm of life, of not being bothered by anything negative ever and just living your life, you know. But you gotta make a decision, especially when you're in that sense of being woke and you know, and fake being awake, you know. You're not gonna get the results you want unless you put 100% into it, and unless you're consistent with it. Because consistency, again, is a really good skill to have, just in everything.
And
Because you have to
also,
be consistent to make routines, and those routines that you make will, you know, help you be a better version of you. To
you have
go
to
into
be
that
okay
way.
with failure.
Man, failure is my biggest teacher. Okay, that's my biggest teacher, because nobody, like I said the other day, nobody is going to teach you anything, honestly, unless you're paying for it, unless you're a good person in the network or something like that, you
Or it
know,
benefits them.
or it benefits them. And that's just not, I don't like to wait on nobody for anything. So if I want to know, I'm going to know, you know, because, and the other thing is, nobody can take your mind away from you. The thing that they said, you know, decades ago, like decades and decades ago, was, if you want to hide something from a nigga,
Put it in a book.
put it in a book. And we still, I'm not gonna say we, but some people are still making excuses for not picking up a book. The excuses are out the window.
And that's
Because you
out the
got
window.
Audible.
Audio, yes. I was just gonna say that you got
got,
audio books. What's the excuse? You listen to music, you listen to the radio. You know what I'm saying?
but
Like,
it's because you're, yeah. It's, but that was the thing that resonated with me when you told me what the topic was. And I said, well, that'd be easy. That's just lazy versus somebody who's not lazy.
well, what's common ain't so common. We had that discussion, which blew my mind when you said that. So, I mean, hey,
That's true. But I mean, it really boils down to, because for me, what am I awake for? Or what am I claiming to be woke for? Right? I'm only doing so because it helps me. Because for me, my mind works off logic as well. And if it don't make sense to me, it just flutters my, just, you know, it just flutters
right,
my rock, man.
right.
Yeah.
The thing is,
So
another thing though, I want to give you kudos too. I know what you do. I admire the fact that you don't speak all of your full credentials. But you got to know something though. I'm not gonna get into. I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but you have better credentials than what, and you know what I'm talking about. You're very cultured,
mhm.
and you don't speak like your credentials as in like you speak from the next person for the next person to understand. You don't speak from your understanding. You speak to the point to where somebody can understand you.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, I had to take a stop to like, okay, you're very humble. I said that in so
You
many
have
words.
to
Yeah, you have to be.
be. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
But I just have to remind myself, like, you know what? That's great. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mhm.
maybe one episode you'll tell people about everything, and they'll understand better. You know what I'm saying? But anybody who watches this or anything, they feel free to reach in the comments and ask any questions you feel like asking.
Yeah, you know what? I thank you for that. But I want to, I want to forewarn people that this thing is coming. All right. What's coming is we're gonna have a hotline. I didn't even get to tell you about this yet, but there's gonna be a hotline that people could just call and just talk and just explain, vent, ask questions, network, whatever they need, because I realize it's not easy for people to talk. That's like the biggest problem in relationships nowadays is communication. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give people that door, that red carpet to be able to talk about whatever it is.
And the
Whatever.
irony, I have that hotline already. I'll give you the info to it.
Okay.
That's the very, very irony. It's available
Cool.
24/7, 365. I pushed that line before. I nobody ever reached out to it, so I'm gonna redo it again. And there's a
Absolutely.
hotline dedicated just specifically for that.
Absolutely.
So, and this is crazy because it actually is it's there. It's implicated. No one
That's
uses
what's up.
it. So
That's what's
I
up.
need you to help push that line. I'll give you the info and everything after the show.
Absolutely. Because like you said about me and in my conversation, I'm not trying to be that person who sounds overly educated, because I'll run some people away, you know, because people they look at it as being inferior. I mean, I'm sorry, they look at it as being superior.
Right. And I feel that way about certain people. Like, if you understand this, can you put it in layman's? Like, I don't, when I don't understand something, like, fuck is you, okay, you did this shit, but can you make it simpler for me to understand?
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's where I am with it. So, and that's why I appreciate them, because I mean, like I said, I know the credentials. So.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, we're gonna get this thing right so people can understand it. And if you want to be woke, invest into learning, invest into in yourself first, because I talked about the other day too, before you can really put your best foot forward in anything else, you got to know who you are. You got to be stable for yourself, because if not, whatever you do after that, it'll fumble or it'll fall if you're not stable, and if your ground isn't steady,
or if you're not grounded.
If you're not grounded, and you need something, man. You need something.
I say that though. I say that, man. And people just look at me like I'm crazy. Like, you need something that, you know what I'm saying? Like something to hold on, something to grasp.
Yes.
And everybody's witnessed miracles, but they don't want to talk about them, or they weren't appreciative to even enjoy it. Like, waking up is a fucking miracle for most.
Yes.
You know, and
I was
people don't
listening
appreciate that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. I was listening to Steve Harvey last night, and he was like, if you woke up this morning, be blessed, be thankful, because you have a purpose still. Some people didn't wake up this morning. They don't have a purpose anymore, and that is
a purpose.
Right. That is so simple, simply put. But do you know how many heads that went over?
It goes over a lot of people's heads. And then when people see it, they appreciate it though too. When they respect it though. Like, when you mention something like that, chances are they be like, you know what, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
And then, another thing, if somebody wake up dead, it's a problem.
But it's that time thing. It's the time thing. We gotta not take for granted time.
And time is money, and money is time.
Time is money, and money is
but
time.
Money isn't supposed to mean anything. But based off of us surviving, I don't see too many farmers. I don't know too many farmers. I don't know too many butchers. I don't know too many cattlemen. You know what I'm saying?
Was it taught in our day though?
Of course. We were the best to ever do it.
Well, I mean,
I'm saying, okay, well, in our day, in a certain circumstances, yes, in certain circumstances, you shall find.
Okay.
You got to think about that. I think it's safe to say, like, from the beginning of those shackles and stuff like that, we were taught to do that, mastered it.
Okay. maybe we were taught, but it wasn't available to us as easily as, I mean, okay, let me
No, you're
explain to
right.
where
It
I'm coming
wasn't
from.
readily available. You're correct.
Let me go further into what I'm talking about though. Like, as far as being a city girl, if you will, like, wasn't very much countryside where I come from. I attended like public school. We didn't really talk about farming, man. Jobs for farming and agriculture and stuff like that. That was kind of like far-fetched.
Understood. The inner city, which I'm totally blessed to experience the best of both worlds, and also the worst of it, because you don't want to get
Okay.
up. You don't want to get up to no rooster.
I
You
bet
don't.
you I don't.
You
I don't
don't.
even like the alarm clock.
Right. So a rooster is like 12 times worse
Right.
because they go. You can't hit no snooze on no rooster. That's one. Two, the inner city taught you how to deal with life and certain things in general. A farm, life is so much simple. You do your chores, do what needs to be farm work or hand work and everything like that. Like you pick blueberries, pick certain things, you harvest things. Life is simple. You in bed before the sun go down. City life
Mm-hmm.
is a whole different animal. So that's why I say I was blessed to meet both worlds and stuff like that. And then also I was blessed to actually have great education, great mentors and stuff like that. You know, and I was blessed
Absolutely.
enough, and I was actually blessed enough to know that street shit wasn't for me. Let me stick to my books. That's gonna get me further than the street shit.
Right.
In hindsight, after everything, I feel like it's only a few of us left, but the elite are the elite. Though. You got to learn how to compromise. You got to learn how to survive, improvise.
Right. Yep. That is true.
And then
But I only said that to say, sorry.
go ahead.
Nope. I was just gonna say, I only said that to say, like, um, that's where the differences in people become, because I aspire to be a farmer for real. Maybe not a farmer exactly, but have my own land and have my own crops and things like that, But I don't know the first place to start unless I were to go out there and look on my own. So I was just saying that the difference of your geography for real will determine the type of things you become interested in the future.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. Because if you don't see that, you're not aware of it. Point blank, period.
Right.
So how would you know how to cultivate? Right. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
like harvest season and things like that.
Like when to plant, when to harvest and stuff like that. And then I'm thankful that's all I knew at that age. Like, well, this is easy. This is what I know. It's simple. Mm-hmm. And now it's to the point to where if I had some land, I know exactly what to do and how to do it.
Right.
That's rare, but at the same time, I mean, I'm like, well, if I'm in the inner city, should I make a garden in somewhere? Anyway.
Exactly. You're going to just build around what you know and make things work for yourself.
And then another thing is people skills when it comes to the being woke and stuff like that. It's your approach more than anything. Mm-hmm. It's your relatability to people.
Yep.
And I think that's one of your master points that you have, that you can relate to anybody. And you know your approach, how you're going to approach somebody. Just, mm-hmm. I mean, some people could, I'm not that great at it, but I'm pretty sure you can speak a few words and you know how to approach them. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, that's safe to say. I love people, man. And I know it sounds weird, but I do. Like, I can feel what people feel, if that makes any sense. So, I don't never want somebody to feel like they're by themselves. They're going through something and they have to go through it by themselves, whatever it may be, we can figure it out. You know, that was one of the thing that sticks with me to this day. You never say you don't know. You say, I'll find out.
Yeah, man,
Period.
you touching so many things, man, that I deal with in my personal life that anybody that's watching this knows this. Like, anybody that watches this, like, I don't want to be like, I don't know. I want to say I'll figure it out. I'll look into it. But at the same time, when you ask me a question, I want to know the answer right then and there.
Yep. Yep.
So,
And it's
like,
a way to it's a way to do it. It might not be that very second, but there'll be a way
hey,
that
what's
you
up?
can there'll be a way that you can you gotta love them, man. My little people.
Always.
There's a way to find out though, and that's why, you know, I'm thankful for my team who taught me coming up, or who assisted me with figuring things out, you know. And that's why that hotline is so important, because you're gonna, especially for a person who's trying, who's looking for the answers, and who doesn't want to be that person, you know. We got to have resources ready and available, because if not, that's how we lose our people. They fall by the wayside because they get discouraged, because we talk about that support system. They don't have it. And if they, you know, if they did have a support system, it might not be the type of support that they need, because a lot of times we're not supporting, we're enabling. We're
Big
enabling people
Big difference. Yeah. You're right.
you
You're
know.
right. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
And enabling is hurting them even worse.
Yes. And then it ultimately hurts both parties, because enabler may not know that they're an enabler. They really might think that they're genuinely helping somebody. This is, I want to help you, you know, whatever it is, let me help you, however it goes. And the person receives the help, and they're continuing to do, or, you know, there's no change. Let's just say that there's no change with that help being received.
It's not
So
helping. That's a number one clue that maybe you're enabling if there's no change.
right. So, but then in return, there's no change in that person who genuinely thought that they were helping because that's what they wanted to do, you know, that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
The outcome didn't come out as expected. Expectations again.
Absolutely.
You know, but when that person doesn't change, the helper is discouraged, or feels bad because they weren't successfully able to help the next person. So
Right.
again, it's discouraging behavior. You know, it's really all of these things that we're speaking about. It's like, if you will, because without the support, you don't have the results that you need. Without the results that you need, you're not able to fully become aware of the enlightenment that's coming to you when it comes, because your chakras are out of line, which is just your soul and your body, and how it receives information, and how it releases it, and how it stores it, and stuff like that.
And then another thing, though, I want you to explain to people what the chakras are. I need you to explain that, because I've had conversations with people on the show at this point in time, like that don't really get it, so they can follow even better.
Okay. If you could give me 1 second, just 1 second, I'm going to grab this book that I want to show people as well, so that they can reference it. It's not very expensive at all. It's you know, it's a very, very, very good tool for self-care. So I'd like to grab it.
I'll grab it. I'm gonna stop for a second, grab it, and we can go from there.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Okay.
So the book you're talking about, what's the name of it?
It's actually just called Chakras and Self-Care
All right.
by Ambi Kavana.
And I need you to explain that to me and also other people too.
Okay. So within our bodies, we have like it just said it was recording now, but this is the book right here, uh, Chakras and Self-Care by Ambi Kavana. And it gives it's a guidance, a reference for getting your power in order, because we have 7 different areas in our body that carry spiritual power. Now, you got to take care of those areas. Just for example, like your heart, you got to clean your heart out of what you're putting into it, because if not, it'll become overloaded, and if whatever you're putting into it is going to come out. So if you're only taking in negativity, that's what's going to eventually come out, and it's not going to be beneficial for you. We all have power within us, which is what this means.
I
It's
agree.
how to activate it, you know?
I agree.
So yeah, we have the capability within ourselves to do so much on our own. But again, it takes that time to have some self-care and to read about these things, because it's not taught in school. It's not taught by your parents. It's not taught by even some of your spiritual leaders. You know, this right here is the power to do and become anything and everything your heart desires. I said what your heart desires, that is what your purpose is. Whatever is on your heart is what your purpose is, excuse me.
No, I get
So
it. Go
that's
on.
why when we go against the grain, that's why we run into against the grain. For me, is our desires, our heart's desires. When we go against our heart desires and we take those detours and not really follow the path that we're supposed to follow, that's when the heartache comes in. That's when life feels like it's rough and it's tough. Those voices in our head that they call our conscious, that is our heart and our inner being telling us, hey, go ahead and go ahead and do that. Go for that. Or it might be telling us, hey, stay away from that. Or it might give you a feeling within your body that says, this is not comfortable for me, you know? But if we stick to those type of situations and those type of environments, then we're causing heartache for our lives, you know? So
Yeah, and another thing though too, you have a first mind. And
yep.
it's usually almost right, dead on.
Yep.
We're living right now, going through that, thinking about in hindsight. It's a lot of people that didn't follow their first mind, and it's not here right now.
Right.
And I feel like this, like we should teach our kids to follow their first mind and stuff like that. Like when like a bully situation or any type of thing, follow your first mind, because people get killed going with the flow.
Yep, absolutely.
And people fall into the wrong stuff going with the flow. And we have to teach our children that actually what's on your mind or how we taught them, it's okay to not be accepted. It's okay not to be doing what everybody else doing. And we have to teach them too, like, it's okay to actually not have to go through the trauma that we went through. We do things to better our children's life.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, unfortunately, everybody doesn't think like us. we're parents, right? But I see some parents out here that I can't believe that they're parents. Not to take anything away from them or to talk negatively about them, but you can't be a kid raising kids. You can't be unaware trying to make your kids aware of something, because first of all, that takes the credibility away from you, which is why they don't listen in the first place.
Absolutely.
So the parents need to step up and learn these things so that we are able to teach our children these things. Like the gun violence and stuff like that, we can't 100% put that off on the government.
No, exactly not.
You know, but that goes with so many other different things too, like the educational system and like the activities that children have to participate in the summertime to keep their minds occupied
And they took
and
that
such
away.
things like
The majority of stuff, they took that away.
exactly. I mean,
And then
they do a lot of things.
I'm gonna take it a step further. Some parents, they needed that to send their kids to. You send your kids to a mentor, you send your kids to some type of sport, some type of activity, that's fine. But don't send your kids to a gang or not pay attention. They go that route.
But that's why taking some time out for yourself and doing some self-care is very important, because sometimes we don't understand why we are seeking these things. And sometimes it's sad because we seek things from our children, right? However, if you take the time to do some self-care, some self-analyzing and reflecting, you'll find that a lot of your ways can be explained and fixed.
And self-care and self-analyzing is a must. But self-medication,
Absolutely.
no, it doesn't help with all the mental stuff going on and stuff like that. No, I say no.
Nope. Nope. And the only thing that does is backfires. When you self-medicate, it just backfires on you because you're just putting a later date for that trauma. You're just putting a later date on that trauma.
Yeah,
it's gonna come out.
When it's done, when everything is said and done, you'd be like, damn, I gotta face this shit. The longer you do it, the longer you come to realization of what's messed up and how to fix it. And with that self-medication, you will make more mistakes that you got to backtrack and fix during the process.
And then everything has fallen. Then you're in an even worse situation.
Absolutely.
You know? So making sure your chakras are aligned, which is just, there's 7 different areas. We can speak on that on a different show, because I think people knowing about these things will really benefit them. Everybody has power within them, and there's 7 different areas in your body that you really should. You ever heard it? Okay, I'll just explain like this. You ever heard somebody say, "Oh, you're so tense"? You ever heard that saying?
Yes, I hear it a lot.
It's not because your skin is tough, it's not because it's not soft. It could be. It might be just ashy and dry. You never know. But
they don't know about us. When we get ashy and dry and stuff, I mean, they don't know, but we do.
You'll never be able to tell.
Right, exactly.
But when somebody says that you're tense, especially when it's around that usually you're comfortable and relaxed with, or however it goes, and you appear to be tense or you feel tense, it's because you have some energy that's trapped in an area that's making it's sending signals to your brain. I mean, like our brain, our bodies, our brains are like amazing,
Yeah.
But our brain receives those signals, and it ultimately is sending out some type of for lack of better words, so everyone can understand, it sends out
muscle memory. It sends out something like tense up. All right, let me try to give an example. When I first learned how to swim, They was like, oh, you tense. You need to relax and do this and do that. No, I was tense because I didn't want to drown. That's
Okay.
mental. That's very, very mental. So I'm
Right.
tense. So my whole idea was a doggy paddle. Forgive me, but you know, it's like that's the only thing I can know how to do. I can float. Can't
Right.
swim, can't dive, but I know how to float. That's the thing. That's key.
But that is a survival mechanism, though. Floating.
Exactly. So they looking at me like, why don't you go ahead and stroke swim and shit? Like, I just jumped into the deep end. Let me survive first, and I'll learn the rest.
Right.
You
Right.
know? But I got it though. And the whole key was when I relaxed, it was all about me understanding how to swim. And you have to relax. Panic causes so much confusion and death. Panic, when you panic, you get tired.
You'll get tired, you'll want to quit, and you'll give up on those dreams and that thing we were talking about in your heart, that permanent desire that resides in you, you know? You'll give up on all of those things. But I'm here to encourage people not to give up, to continue to, you know, go in the direction that was designed and destined for them to go. I encourage people not to be followers, be more of leaders, because that's what we need. And lastly, but more importantly, to take care of yourself. Spend some time with yourself. Learn that your mind is very powerful and you have power within yourself to do whatever it is you need to do to get those heart desires accomplished.
Absolutely. And another thing, I'm gonna have to end this episode just to upload it and get it going. Thank you, because I haven't seen my numbers spike like this since. Oh, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, long time, and,
That's just it.
and obviously it's not just me. Obviously,
Hey, some things you can't do on your own, man. It takes a team, you
yeah,
know?
exactly. And thank you for being a new addition to the team.
Thank you for
Greater later, but at this moment, right time, at a drop of a fucking hat, we'll have classics. And then also my apologies for the last episode, though. I mean, it was great, but at the same time, like we gotta show and prove though too. We want people to listen too, so I get it first and foremost.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't want to mess your stuff up, and you don't want to mess my stuff up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we, you know, everything ain't for everybody.
Exactly.
I'll just say that.
And
you know,
we connect on that level though too. Like, all right, let your hair down and this and that, but not what we trying to do right now at this moment.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So I mean, I get it, but we gotta have a part 2.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I look forward to the millions of viewers that we're gonna have coming, you know, especially together.
Yes. That's the way I think, and that's what's gonna happen. Speak it into existence if it ain't happening right now.
Right.
And that's the way I am. And thank you for your positivity. And I'm gonna end this one and upload it, and just all you gotta do is share it. And that's that. We good. And thanks for being a new addition to the team, though, too, as well.